Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Women Unleashed. Today I am on my own, and it's been such a long time since I've actually done an episode on my own. And just because I've had so many great guests, so many people to have chats with, that I forgot about myself. And I thought today I would just go through a little chit chat session with Dom, kind of go over everything that's been recently happening. I've had quite a lot of new things going on. I've had, figured out the root cause of my Hashimotos. So I'll go through over that with you. I will talk a little bit about the Honesty Box, the new TV show on E4 that I'm on. And I will also discuss just life in general and a realization that I had this morning. So I'll start off with the health side of things purely because it's quite recent. So about 2-3 weeks ago, I thought, well, actually, back it up, Dom, back it up. For anybody who is a new listener, for example, and doesn't know my story, basically I've been diagnosed with Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease of the thyroid. Basically, I have an underactive thyroid. So, I struggle with weight loss side of things, hair loss, fatigue, my cycle was a little bit all over. And I've struggled with that for a few years now, and, it came out of nowhere. And I wanted to get down to the root cause of it because we all know that any disease starts somewhere, right? It doesn't just happen. It doesn't just appear overnight. There is a root cause to everything. So over the last 3 years, I've been kind of trying to figure out what is the root cause of my Hashimoto's. And I have gone through, gut protocols, doing GI 360, which is basically a really in-depth, comprehensive gut test. I've done millions of different blood panels, over and over again. And eventually, 2 weeks ago, I did a mycotoxin test, which is basically a mould toxicity test. So it tests for different types of mould within our bodies. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know loads of things about it because I'm quite new to it, still learning. But from what I do know, there's obviously, I think there's maybe like 9 different types of mycotoxins in the body. And, it can be caught through food. It can be caught airborne, if you work somewhere with mould. But even if you don't know it, even if you can't see it, right? You can catch it, and some people are more susceptible than others to catching it, right? We all have a little threshold of how much mold exposure we can tolerate. Some people's will be higher, some people's will be lower. Now, I'm quite a sensitive person. Obviously, my immune system's already quite compromised, so I was quite susceptible to it. Now, I never really thought about it because I don't feel like I have been exposed to it visibly, okay? But it doesn't mean I haven't been around it. Now, I got the test back, and it turns out I've got a really, really high level of ochratoxin in my body, which is quite a nasty type of mold. It's that really thick black mold that you see in places. Now, thinking back to the places I've lived, etc., I have never seen it anywhere that I live, right? But what happens with ochratoxin, because it's such a nasty mold, it actually can penetrate through walls, right? So even if this mold is on the outside of a building, it comes through, and it is airborne. So you literally, through breathing, that is how you catch it. Now, thinking back of a timeline of events of what actually happened, I lived in uni halls, could have been there. I lived all over the world, basically. So it could have been any of the apartments that I've lived in, Airbnbs, etc. But the biggest culprit is the hospital. Now, I was a nurse. I worked in the hospital for 3 years as a nurse. Before that, I was obviously studying, so it was another 3 years. So 6 years in a hospital environment where, if there is mold, even in the air conditioning units, in the ventilation systems, we are breathing it in, day out. Now, thinking about the symptoms that I've had, right? Obviously, the basics of like my hair, digestion, hormones being all over, underactive thyroid. These can all be caused by mold. But other symptoms that I experienced that I didn't realize were connected to mold toxicity is, for example, static shocks. Whenever me and my friend would go, well, I'm going to call a friend, whenever me and Ista or any of one of my friends actually go for a walk, sometimes I would give him like a static shock quite frequent. Now, I don't know the science behind it. I've been explained it to me. Dr. Dean explained it to me. However, I cannot remember, so I'm not going to make anything up. But yeah, static shocks, given constant static shocks, is one of the symptoms. The second one is constant, frequent urination, even during the night. Now, this issue for me started back at uni. So this was years ago. Like, we're talking like 8 years ago now, right? So if I do a timeline of events, this could have started 8 years ago for me. So frequent urination was another. Obviously, inflammation in the body for me, it's quite chronic. Obviously, everybody will suffer differently. For me, it is very much so. Inflammation is really bad and it's getting worse. Joint pain, headaches, I don't really get headaches. Blocked sinuses, I don't really get that, but that is another, obviously, symptom. What else was there? Vertigo, okay? I've suffered with vertigo for years, not constantly. Every now and again I'd get vertigo when I'm going to bed or whatever. And for me, it was like, where is this coming from? But it's all starting to make sense. It's all starting to piece together for me now, because all these random symptoms are pointing to one thing: mould. And the test just confirmed it. So I'm actually really happy because I've got down to the root cause of it. Now, mould will affect your body in so many different ways. Everybody's very different, and the symptoms of mold toxicity can be very similar to hormonal problems, to gut issues, but it's a big cycle, right? It's still the root cause. If mold is the root cause of your Hashimoto's, if mold is the root cause of the food intolerances that you have, if mold is a cause of leaky gut, celiac, anything like that, if you get down to the bottom of what type of mold it is, if it is mold, heal from it. Does that then mean you can heal from effectively Hashimoto's, celiac, and all these aches, pains, and symptoms that you have? 110%. So if I were to say one piece of advice for everybody is go get mold test done. 110%, especially if you have been exposed to it. If you have been exposed to mold, 9 times out of 10, you will have mold toxicity, even if it's quite mild. And it's good to get rid of it, right? So for the next 6 to 12 months, because I bet you're thinking, well, how do you get rid of it? How do you get rid of it? So for the next 6 to 12 months, I will be working on excreting the mold out of my system. And the only way to do this is through sweating, urination, and going to the toilet for a number 2. So bowel movements, right? That is the only way to excrete it, through using binders, obviously to bind the mold toxin to then excrete. And infrared saunas is what I'll be doing eventually every day, okay? And then obviously just taking the binders to excrete everything. Now, your diet has to obviously be really good as well. Whilst you're doing that, there's certain things you can't eat, certain things you should eat, etc., certain things you should avoid. So, yeah, it's just, for me, I can see the light at the end of this tunnel. Like, this time next year, I'll be fully healed. At the end of 2025, I'll be fully healed. Like, I believe this and I know, and I just can't wait to feel like myself, because for the last 3 to 4 years, I just haven't. Like, people that I've met recently, I always say to them, I'm like, this isn't the real me. This is not who I am. Like, the way I behave, the way I feel, it just isn't me. The way that I look, it isn't me. This little chunky face, it's not me. I normally have, I have a wide jawline, yes, but this inflammation, this puffiness, like, this isn't weight. I'm not fat. I eat well. It's inflammation, and I just don't feel like myself when I look in the mirror. And there is nothing worse than looking in the mirror and thinking, who is this person? I don't recognize myself. I cannot wait for the moment that I actually feel absolutely amazing, So that has been my little revelation around my health recently. And like I say, if I would give anyone one piece of advice, is if you are stuck between, having a GI 360 test, which is a gut test, or a mold test, go for a mold test. Unless you have, like, obviously other symptoms, but consult with somebody, consult with a practitioner. Don't go through your GP. You can't do that through your GP. They will not do it. They will laugh at you and they'll pie you off, all right? So don't even bother. Anyone that's listening that has questions, drop me a message. I'm more than happy to help. Now, these tests are done private. You will have to go through a practitioner. Myself, I can prescribe it with being a nurse. So again, if you want a test, come to me. I'll help you. But the most important thing to remember is it's your health at the end of the day. You are investing in your health. And if I would have known 3 years ago that this was the issue, I would have been 3 years clear now. And, yes, it might cost £400 for this test, but if it means you can heal and be symptom free for the rest of your life, is that not worth it? Is that not worth sacking off 2 nights out in a month just to pay for something health related? For me, it's a no-brainer personally. And I think everybody should take the same approach in terms of health. So that is my little health update from that aspect. Now, I've covered the health side of things. I've covered the a little bit serious side of things. I will go more onto the juicy gossip. So, for those who follow me on Instagram, will have seen that I am on the Honesty Box show, which is a dating show with a twist where it involves a military grade AI lie detector test. Okay, so that is on Channel 4. Now, by the time I post this episode, I don't know how many episodes will be into the Honesty Box. Maybe like 7 or 8 coming to an end because there's only 9 episodes. So if you haven't watched it yet, please go back and watch. If you love reality TV, go watch it. Even if you don't like reality TV, I'm not a fan, right? So if people ask me, why did you do this? Honestly, I was like, let's try something new. Even if you don't like reality TV, give it a go because it is so much fun, and the twist of lies and the honesty, and it's testing people, it's testing how honest people are in relationships, and obviously Dom being Dom, very honest. But I think as a person I've changed, because years ago I might not have been as honest as I am now, and this kind of relates back to health in a little bit of a way, because if you're not honest, if you're holding back what you want to say, right, you blocking all emotions in your throat, which is your throat chakra, which then affects your thyroid. So I believe that over the years, I've learned to speak up. I've learned to say the truth, to speak my truth, should I say. And it has definitely got me in a little bit of trouble. So if you tune into the Honesty Box, you will know exactly what I'm on about. But the most important thing for me is I was true to myself. I was honest. I said what I thought, and I went in there with a purpose. I did what I needed to do. Sometimes you're going to upset people in life, but that's just part and parcel of life. You need to always look after yourself. Yes, it's a bit ignorant not thinking about other people, but at the end of the day, would them people look out for you? Would them people do other things for you? That's kind of my approach to life these days. I just try and think, right, it's for me. This is for me. I'm doing everything for me to make me happy because it's my life at the end of the day and I'm living it. So yeah, it was very, very juicy. And going back to kind of why I did the show. Now, for years and years and years, people around me, friends, clients, etc., have always said, even colleagues when I used to work in the hospital, used to say, Dom, you would suit being on TV. You have the personality for it. You have the confidence for it. I'm funny sometimes. Well, I find myself funny anyway. And people have always said it to me and I was like, nah, not bothered. I don't care for it, whatever. And then last year, I had 3 or 4 casting producers message me about 4 various shows. One of them was Love Island. One of them was Dating Naked. One of them was the cheating one. And that's just on Netflix now. Can't remember the name of it. And then the 4th one was the Honesty Box. And I declined the first 3. And I was like, no, I can't be bothered. It's not for me. And then when the 4th one came along, I was like, okay, universe is trying to tell me something here. Like, it's giving me these opportunities, okay? Now, I know casting producers reach out to a load of people, right? But you have to be some sort of person, like a certain type of character. And I thought, you know what? Okay, the universe is putting the signs there for me. I'll give it a go. I'll go through the casting process. If I don't get through, it's not meant to be. If I do, it's meant to be. And I went through it with no expectation. I wasn't bothered at all. I wasn't like, oh yeah, I can't wait to do this. I was like, whatever it is, what it is. And I got through to it. And I was like, oh, all right, okay, amazing. I'm going. So it was a bit like, shit, wasn't really expecting it, and half the time in life when you're not expecting things, they will happen. And when you're focusing on something and you really, really want something, it's not always going to happen because there's too much pressure, right? So I was like, okay, cool, I'll do it. And I was single and I thought I want to try something different in life. And, I wouldn't mind being a TV producer, I feel like I like being in front of the camera, I like speaking to people, I have character. So I was like, maybe if I want to be a presenter in the future, this is a good step forward. But I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to give it a go. And I was single at the time, so obviously it was a dating show. So for me, I was like, if I find love, amazing. If I don't, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? You're not guaranteed to do that. So I went there with high hopes. I had a lot of signs along the way. So something that I've not spoke about. I will be able to speak about this now because I'm sure this episode will be out by the time I release this podcast. But I'm very big on angel numbers, right? And what happened was I have 1111 tattooed on me, right? One of the guys in there has also 1111 tattooed on him. But the biggest thing was when I landed in Cyprus, because that's where it was filmed, my taxi was 222. There was 222 on the taxi. I got to my hotel and the room number was 222 as well. And then the guy in there who had 1111 tattooed on him had also 222 tattooed on him. And the deep meaning of kind of 222 when it comes to love is your match, your person is just around the corner, right? So I was like, oh, exciting, I'm going on a dating show, all these 222s. Well, yeah, that's all I'm going to say, because I want you to watch the show and I want you to find out what happens. I'm not going to give it all away. So yeah, that was kind of the reason as to why I did the show. And, you know, like people saying it over the years kind of did get in my head. I was like, maybe I am missing something here. Maybe I should just give it a go. And obviously with my ex being on reality TV, I was always like, not really that bothered for it. But then I was like, you know what? I'm my own person. I'll give it a go. And if you don't know, you won't know if you like it. You don't know until you try, right? So I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And I did it and I had a ball and I really, really enjoyed it. It was probably one of the best few weeks of filming in my life. It was such a surreal experience. I met some absolutely incredible people from the cast to the crew. Everybody was so nice. It was really a really pleasurable experience. Would I do it again? Probably, yeah, 100%. Like, that's how much I enjoyed it. Like, don't get me wrong, at the time it was difficult. It was very emotional, and I always, you know, whenever I've seen, I don't really watch reality TV, but when I have watched it in the past, I was like, oh my god, how are these people crying, how are these people in love, how are these people arguing, putting it on, blah blah blah. Okay, you don't know until you do it yourself, right? I take all that back, because living with those people 24/7, and you know, you're in each other's space and there's so much happening, it's very emotional and your emotions are heightened massively. Like, I was crying 1 minute, next I was laughing, next I was shouting. Like, it was crazy. I have never experienced so many emotions in the space of like a day, an hour. It was insane. So, you know, when people think that reality TV shows are really fake, they're not. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were in there because we wanted to be there. We were having normal conversations with normal people like we would day to day. So, you know, these things aren't fake. They are real, okay? It's like reality TV. It's real. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, there might be some individuals every now and again that just aren't. But most of the time, yeah, I would say they are real. And from experience speaking, yeah, it was a great experience. So, as I said, if you haven't already watched it, you can obviously watch them on demand. The Honesty Box on Channel 4, E4grams at 9 p.m. and it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays for 3 weeks. As I am filming this episode, 3 episodes have already been released of the Honesty Box. Monday is when I come in officially as a Newtopian. So from episode 4. But I think when I do release this podcast, it will be episode 7. So 4, 5, and 6 will have happened, and there'll be 7, 8, 9, the final 3. So dun dun dun, what is going to happen? Tune in to find out. But that is my little update on the Honesty Box. Now, when it comes to my realisation that I had this morning, so I've booked to go to Bali next week, and for 10 days. I haven't had a holiday in over a year. And when I say holiday, it was when the show was filmed. So where I genuinely didn't work, okay? And that's the first time, last year was the first time I took an actual holiday since having my own business, so like 4 years. And, you know, people are like, oh my God, you live such an amazing life, you travel, blah, blah, blah. I do, and my life is amazing, right? But I am working 24/7, right? Even if it's little things, I don't switch off, always answering messages, always doing something. I haven't had time off away from my laptop. And today I've had a realization, right? Because I was sat there and I was like, right, I'm going to Bali. This week has been a little bit quieter. I don't deserve to go on holiday, right? That is such an unhealthy mindset. I don't deserve to go on holiday. Like, why do I not deserve it? I work hard, you know, I work my ass off. Just because it's been a little bit of a quiet period I don't deserve to go on holiday. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm going to go away for 10 days. I wouldn't dream taking 10 days off, because coming back, it's not even about taking the time off. It's about the anxiety that comes with it. Coming back to millions of messages. I couldn't leave my clients for that long. You know, I have to post. I have people to speak to. I have people to respond to. Like, I have a team to look after. 10 days for me just isn't feasible at this moment in time. Eventually, in the near future, I would like to get to a point where obviously I can take that much time off, but I will take 4 days off. Right? I will take 4 consecutive days off now. I'm done saying this. I'm trying to make a promise to myself. This is why I'm saying it on the podcast. I will take 4 days off, because I am the worst person for this. I'll say I'm taking time off, but I'll still reply to messages. Like, I won't be able to switch off from that. So I might have to just archive my chats and just stay away from it. But the reason why I'm talking about this is because, deep breath, because I never used to be like this, right? And I don't know whether it's come with me having my own business and being so hard on myself, or because, you know, I've made myself more successful. I'm earning more than what I used to when I worked in the hospital. And I'm just scared of losing it all. And I'm scared that taking that time off will mean that I won't do as well. It's like, I can't explain it. It's like, if I don't work, I don't deserve it, right? But if you don't have time off, you're going to burn yourself out. So you're not going to do as well. So I'm trying to shift this mindset of, I need to always be working, because half of the time, as I said earlier in this podcast, when you keep pushing on, when you keep forcing something, everything starts to fall apart actually. And when you actually sit back, things start to fall into place, because too much pressure is never good, you know? So if you feel like I'm feeling right now, like you don't deserve something for whatever reason, or, you know, you don't deserve love, right? You need to flip that mindset, because that's so unhealthy and such a negative way to think. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because, you know, people always look up to me and are like, you know, you've got your life together, you're so motivated, you know what you're talking about. But I have these bad thoughts too. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I thought I'm not deserving of love before, and that's probably why I haven't found the love of my life yet, right? But I'm working on that. Now, today when I had this realization, I messaged my therapist. I was like, this is my thought process, and I'm waiting for her to get back to me. But if you struggle with negative thoughts and you can't deal with it on your own, get a therapist, get someone to talk to, get somebody to help you, because an outsider's perspective will help you so much to understand why you're thinking this way, and it'll help you to deal with it as well in a much better manner. So yeah, I mean, if you relate to what I'm saying right now, drop me a message. I'm more than happy to be that person to help, because to ourselves, we don't see it. When other people look at it, it's a little bit different, you know? So yeah, that was my thought process this morning. And now that I'm saying it out loud, it's like, I do deserve that time off, for sure. Because, you know, I work Monday to Friday. I should take weekends off, but I don't. Saturdays, yeah, maybe. Sundays, I'm still working, you know? So I do deserve to take 4 days off. So next week, I'm taking 3 days off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I'm going to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then I'm going to take another 4 days off. So over the space of 2 weeks, I'm going to take a little bit more time off to relax, wind down, because you can't pour from an empty cup either, which is really, really important to remember. Like, if you keep giving to everybody else around you, how do you expect to give them more when there's nothing left inside of you to give? And that way, you're burning yourself out. And, you know, I'm giving my energy to everybody around me, my clients, my friends, my family, my colleagues, my staff. I'm giving my energy to everybody. And there's nothing left for me, and I just feel drained constantly. I'm exhausted, and I'm just like, keep pushing on, Dom, keep pushing on. If you want to be successful, you've got to do it. And it was actually me who spoke about this on a podcast. We work in a generation where team no days off is the best way. You need to work every day. You need to hustle to be rich. You need to hustle to be successful, because if you don't hustle every day, you're not ambitious, you shouldn't do well, and your life will fail. That is not the case at all. If anything, you are burning yourself out. So if anything, you will fail, because you'll be so burnt out, you'll get yourself unwell. And that's it. Like, health is wealth. If you want to be successful, if you want to be healthy and wealthy, you need to make sure all these things align as well, right? So that was a bit of a, realization moment for me and for you guys. So have a think what in your life you are struggling with at the moment. And what do you not believe in? Like, have you got moments of doubt and disbelief that, you know, you're not worthy of something, right? Fix it. As soon as you fix it, you'll feel so much better. So today, I'm going to go home and I'm going to switch off tomorrow for the weekend. I'm going to work on Sunday and then work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then I'm going to enjoy a few days off completely off my... This is why I need a work phone, right? So I can switch it off. At the moment, everything's in the one place. But yeah, that was my little thought for you today. I'm trying to think if there's any other updates to give you. So I am currently in Dubai. I will be leaving for the summer just because it gets hot. I've spent summer here before and it's just no fun. Do you know what I mean? It's not enjoyable being outside. I like to sunbathe. It's just, you can't breathe. You feel like you're getting suffocated. If people are watching this and not listening to this, I would have pulled some right faces there. Yeah, so I'm going to leave for the summer. Still don't know yet, purely because, you know, yes, I could hop about, but with this protocol that I'm doing for the mold toxicity, I need to have an infrared sauna like every day. So I need to really sort my situation out. And at the moment, I don't know what to do. I should be leaving here in 5 weeks and I still haven't got my flights booked. But yeah, what are the plans for the summer? Oh, going to see Chris Brown again. This time we're going to see him in Dublin. And I can't believe how cheap the tickets were. They were like £80 to go see Chris Brown in Dublin. For anybody that's followed me or listened to me for a while, I went to see Chris Brown last year. When I was in Miami, I flew over to LA to go see him. Took myself on a solo date, which no man will ever top. And I paid an extortionate amount. And I'm not going to say how much because my mum's listening to this and I think she will kill me if she knows how much money I spent to go see Chris Brown. On another topic. So yeah, going to see him and I can't wait. That's end of June, and then I don't know what to do with my life, so we'll see. We'll kind of see where life takes me this year. I'm kind of trying to be a free bird and not plan too much, and I've always been a planner. I always like to have a plan of action, know what I'm doing when, as much as I am a free spirit. But this year I'm just like, whatever will be, and just take it as it comes. So it's been nice to listen to my own voice for the last 20 or so minutes. I hope this podcast helps you guys in some way, shape or form, whether it's health related, whether it's pushing you out of your comfort zone, whether it's working on your inner self and the way you talk to yourself. In some way, shape or form, I hope it really, really has helped you. If you have any questions in regards to anything, or you feel like chatting to someone and reaching out, I always say you are more than welcome to message me on the Women Unleashed page, or you can go and message me on my personal Instagram at Define by Dom. That's DEFINE by Dom. Drop me a follow on there as well. I always post plenty of fitness content, hormones, you know, what else do I talk about? Some funny, relatable stuff, health, etc. So tune into that page too. If there's anything that you would like me to speak about on the episode, let me know. And yeah, I'm super, super excited for the next guest that we'll have for next episode. So tune in next week to find out who it's going to be.